This is an interesting movie because it's once again sort of trying to breathe new life into an IP that, had a pretty successful movie back in 1996. So, how was Twisters? Let's talk about it. As I mentioned, that movie, Twister, originally came out in 1996. It starred Helen Hunt and Bill Paxton, and of course, probably Philip Seymour Hoffman's first movie or first big movie anyway. I mean, it made him a star, and you suddenly saw him in tons of movies. Here's what I think about this first movie. Okay, that first movie is it's kind of dumb. It's kind of dumb. Okay, if you know anything about tornadoes and you know anything about weather, it's kind of not great. It's as far as like scientifically possible, but I find it utterly watchable. It's a watchable movie. It's one of those that I think I saw it like three or four times in the theater back in 1996, and yeah, I've seen it many times. It's so for a movie that I think is kind of missing some of the actual science behind tornadoes, I still find it really really watchable. Now, Twisters sort of builds on this whole idea of, storm chasers and, trying to, understand them so they can, get better about, forecasting where they're going to go. And in this case, they're actually trying to see if they can like take down a tornado, as in break it apart or whatever. It's some ideas that are definitely building on that first movie, but you don't have to have seen that first movie to enjoy this one. I didn't know this until the credits, but the story is by Joseph Kosinski, who did Top Gun Maverick, which, has a little Glenn Powell connection there. But he also did Oblivion. He also did Tron Legacy, which I have a soft spot for. I mean, I know some people just don't like that movie, but I like it. So it was kind of interesting. It was kind of interesting to see that, okay, I can kind of see sort of that same sort of feeling that he brought to Top Gun Maverick, which is taking that original idea and let's expand on it, let's build on it, let's make something fresh. I think if you've seen that first movie a lot though, you're going to notice some of the same beats. Like, I was actually wondering if, like, there's a part in the middle of the movie where I was kind of like, okay, are we going to turn around and do this? And that didn't happen, but something similar kind of happened. So it's weird how it follows almost the same formula as that first movie. But that's not really a bad thing. It was entertaining, I mean, I'm sitting there the same way that I am when I watch the first movie, where I'm kind of like, this is kind of dumb. It's just kind of dumb. But I'm enjoying myself. I'm actually enjoying this, and it looks great. It definitely brings that first movie, and it's sort of, I mean, let's be honest, 1996, the effects, they look kind of shaky now. I mean, it still holds up. I think the first movie still holds up, but it definitely brings it into, this day and age, and it looks great. So kudos to them on that. The thing is, there's not really a whole lot of surprises in this movie. I mean, like, when it comes to the acting, everybody does their job well. Daisy Edgar-Jones is very likable, and she's kind of got that sort of tortured scientist kind of thing going, And then Glenn Powell is this guy, is the cowboy that comes in, and he's brash and kind of almost in your face and all that kind of stuff. But then there's this heart that he has and all that kind of stuff, right? I mean, you know what's going to happen. I mean, come on, it's going to be a thing. A big surprise for me was Anthony Ramos. I don't think I've seen him in anything, but I really enjoyed watching him in this. And also, there was a person in the movie where I was going, I think I know who that is. Is that? Yeah, it's the new Superman. It's David Cornsweet. I had no idea he was in that. Or in this. So yeah, there you go. But the one thing that the original has that this one doesn't is a really fun set of side characters, supporting characters, right? Philip Seymour Hoffman, Alan Ruck, Jeremy Davies, all those guys, there's a bunch of them. And they all have like their own sort of idiosyncrasies, and they're fun, and it makes the whole movie more enjoyable. This movie just doesn't have that. And a bunch of quotable lines in that first movie. This one, not so much. I mean, my favorite one is, well, it's this one.
Jonas, son of a bitch.
I don't know how many times in my life that I've said that, but I've said that so many times that it's just become something that I say. Like, I will say that probably another time this week. I already said it once earlier this week. I will say it again because it's just one of those lines, and it's the delivery too. Bill Paxton, he has that it factor, that Glenn Powell definitely has. He has a lot of charisma, but man, I mean, it's Bill Paxton. I mean, come on. So I'll say this: if you've seen that first movie and you go, "Yeah, I really like that movie," I don't think you're going to be disappointed by this one. I really don't. I think it's just as fun. I mean, I guess, like I said, there's some things that it doesn't have that the first one does have, but it's totally enjoyable. It was a totally enjoyable. Just being honest, but turn your brain off and just enjoy the ride. That's kind of what this movie is, and I thought it was a good time. So there you go. So Twisters, are you gonna go see this movie? Or have you already seen it? Let's talk about it down in the comment section. Did I miss something? Did I miss some really good quotables from this movie? I mean, I don't know, maybe. Or, do you think, man, this one just doesn't live up to the first one? Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it in the comment section. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you on the next one.